are experiencing a life-changing, powerful interview, and you are hearing it first from Arthur Robinson Jr.'s PowerfulInterviews.com.
Good evening, everyone. This is Arthur Robinson Jr. I'm the creator of PowerfulInterviews.com, and tonight I have another special interview for each and every one of you. Tonight I have a wonderful person on the call, and he's a great friend of mine. His name is Dr.Bill Deagle. And for those that don't know Dr. Bill, let me explain to you about this incredible man, Dr. Bill Deagle. His current activities include a daily Monday through Friday radio show on Genesis Network, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Pacific time. Consulting worldwide live stream TV programs and an activist on GEO, political, environmental, anti-aging, life extension, and preparedness for nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare. Dr. Bill Deagle has worked with U.S. government on Operation Top Off and Dark Winter with the CDC, FBI, and hazmat teams from Colorado in the late 90s, and have received classified WHO documents on the genetic engineering of the resurrected 1918 H1N1 flu and much more. The outbreak of the H1N1 flu in Mexico City in 2009 was a lab virus that had 4 origins from 3 continents. We are now in the wave 3 in UK ICUs filled with otherwise. Healthy young people and elderly that prior exposures no longer provide residual immunity. And that is an awesome resume. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Bill Deagle to the call.
Thank you very much, Arthur Robinson Jr. And thank you all the listeners out there. And I tell people, even if you don't believe everything that is stated, you can check all the references and go to my website, NutriMedical, NutriMedical.com, where we have the best nutraceuticals on the planet for not only your personal wellness, but also protection from biological weapons and radiation. And Clay and Iron, ClayandIron.com. And my live stream premium channel, which is livestream.com/the NutriMedical, NUTRI Medical Report Show. And that live stream channel also is a password protected channel where you have a membership $22 a month or $100 for 6 months. But all the material on my 2 websites, NutriMedical and Clay and Iron, including the radio archives, is completely free. All that information, PowerPoints, audio, video, other materials. And I want to make sure that people understand that we are at a time in history when the lack of this information can put your health, your finances, and the future of you and your family and your nation in grave jeopardy. Today, I guess, what Arthur wants to talk about was the origin of the 1918 flu, how it arose, the attempts to resurrect it, the rising up of information and policies by the World Health Organization and governments, including America, about H5N1, the avian flu, and then the emergence in 2009 of the H1N1 flu in Mexico City that was south of a Baxter facility which manufactures vaccines, is a lab virus. And we're going to talk about this today. What kinds of questions would you like to ask today, Arthur?
Okay. To anyone that's on this call, I highly recommend go and get your pen and your pad and write down these powerful notes. We have a lot of topics that we're going to cover on tonight's call. Dr. Bill Deagle is going to break down in layman's terms what is bird flu, what is swine flu, the big epidemic that occurred in Mexico City, and the viruses that can actually get into your pets in regards to dogs and cats. Now, what I'd like to know, Dr. Bill Deagle, can you explain to the listeners in regards to, can you give them a brief background about exactly who you are, and can you break down in layman's terms what is bird flu, pig flu, and swine flu?
Okay, I went to university in the 1970s. I was to receive a special scholarship to go into nuclear physics at MIT. I switched into honors biochemistry. I completed my research project in 5 months and was ready to write my thesis at age 21 in marine molecular biology and bacteriology, and my grandfather was dying of diabetes and asked me to go into medicine. So I've been around in medicine now for more than a third of a century. I'm board certified in family medicine, board eligible in occupational environmental medicine toxicology, member of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, American Academy of Environmental Medicine, and past memberships in the American Society for Pain Practice Management and the American Academy of Pain Medicine. I've been working, doing everything from trauma burn unit, intensive care unit, internal medicine, rural practice, military medicine, and radiotoxicology. Have taken care of employees working at the Savannah River nuclear plants to facilities creating nuclear weapons. Worked on facilities in Colorado that took care of U.S. Space Command, Strategic Defense, Star Wars, and NORAD, and have had a level of clearance classification that's equivalent to the level that the U.S. President would receive in order to have access to high-level classified information. I received documents in 1997 from the World Health Organization that were smuggled out and given to me by physicians and scientists that took them from the Basel, Switzerland headquarters regarding the attempted plan by the World Health Organization to resurrect the 1918 flu with finances from the Rothschild bankers and the United Nations, with a plan to combine facilities in Britain, Canada, Israel, and America to resurrect the 1918 flu with a project that was funded by the Rothschilds. It involved USAMRIID, the CDC, the research facilities in Winnipeg, Manitoba, facilities in London, England, and in Israel to resurrect the 1918 flu. And I have a presentation that you can actually pull up the PowerPoint free on my website, NutriMedical, that talks about the lab origins of the H1N1 Mexican Frankenflu, I call it, and the toxic eugenic mandatory vaccines they wanted to impose. Of course, they had policies even before H1N1, several years before it happened, in 2006, adopted by the United States government under George W.Bush, that they were going to force vaccinations on people if there was, quote, a declared pandemic. These vaccines contain toxic adjuvants that can cause significant health problems, cross the blood-brain barrier, destroy fertility, and they're genotoxic, so they can destroy and damage your genes so you pass on to your descendants. So, in summary, we have, and if you look at this PowerPoint, you can see the specific details, and I have videos as well that are available that you can purchase from NutriMedical or Clay and Iron. That's NUTRI Medical or Clay and Iron. I've also posted them on Google Video and on my websites are up on the live stream channel. But if you look at the 1918 flu, it came out of a vaccine that was made while they were making a typhus vaccine, and they were passing through at a facility in Kansas the virus by passing it through swine. And of course, what happened to the swine happened to be infected with H1N1 flu, and they formed a recombinant while they were in the process of making this new, quote, typhus vaccine. The 1918 flu killed many. It's estimated killed 100 million people worldwide. Some people estimate it's as high as 200 million, and the death rate was higher in third world countries. A number of people had got other versions of H1N1 flu up into the 40s, but wasn't as lethal as in 1918. Those who did survive it, many of them developed what's called frozen man syndrome, where the basal nuclei of their brain were damaged, or they developed later Parkinson's disease. Many of them developed it's a similar disorder to post-polio syndrome. And a lot of them that did survive H1N1 flu developed earlier dementia as well, the 1918 flu. What they tried to do in the 1950s is they sent teams to Alaska and elsewhere to resurrect the virus, and they only found fragments. So they assembled this team with Dr. Totenberger and other specialists at the CDC and USAMRIID in the United States to use a gene bioengine and resurrect fragments and actually rebuild the virus using this gene bioengine from fragments. So they were working on this for years, and this is before the H1N1 flu was announced. I received these documents in 1997, before, quote, these pandemic viruses. So they had policies in place. In 2006, the World Health Organization had policies in place that they proposed to all the nations to be prepared for this. So they were getting ready for a pandemic flu, and they wanted to use it as a way of getting control of the population.